So Noah, you've got a great track record for putting a fresh spin on beloved film franchises. How do you make something original that still hews to the ideas of an original story?
I mean, it's about the spirit, I think, of the movie itself, whether it's Fargo or Alien. You know, watching a movie is a set of feelings that you get from it, and once you figure out what the seminal feelings are, then I'm always looking to create them in a different way, not the literal way. So, here we have this sort of Peter Pan story about these children whose minds have been placed into adult bodies. What are the parallels in the Alien storyline? Well, in the second film, we have a literal child with Newt, but then we also have Bill Paxton's character, who's the most childish adult we've ever seen. And so this idea of a child who's wise beyond her years and an adult who's acting like a child, that's in there. It's just being used in a different way.
Yes, I see. And what were the feelings you both had when you watched Alien for the first time?
I think it's a really fascinating film. Unlike so many horror films, it doesn't build dread from the opening moment. It has a sort of mundanity to it, the sort of like workplace drama of 1970s class warfare of these space truckers, and they don't even know who they're working for, etc. And and then into this sort of mundane workplace comes this primeval threat. I think that's what it was, is that it doesn't signal itself as horror for a very long time, and I thought that was something that we should explore.
I didn't see the movie until I was an adult because I don't tolerate horror very well, so I had my defenses up when I was watching it because I had some sense of what I was encountering. But I was just thinking maybe the next iteration would be a hybrid merge of Fargo and Alien.
There you go.
That could be interesting.
Yeah.
Terrible idea.
And did you approach it as sci-fi first or horror first, or was it mostly blending the genres?
Yeah, I mean, I think that the future we're living is the future envisioned by science fiction writers in the past. Certainly if you look at all of the tech companies that we're currently enjoying on the planet Earth, all of those innovative minds were the sci-fi geeks of their high school class, right? And so, I think that it's a blending of the genres, certainly, and the science fiction is there in the sort of speculative world of what is the future like, and then the horror is there to explore the idea of, wait, that's the future?
And what was it like having Ridley Scott on set?
Not on set.
No, he was on his own set.
He was on his own set.
While we were on our set.
We sent him from set, particularly the ship sets, which were like old home week for him, in I think a very unexpected way. But no, he cedes the ship entirely to Noah.
And being someone who employs directors, there's really no place worse than on another director's set where literally it's as a man as decisive as he is, to not be asked to be making those decisions. He has plenty of things to do.
Yes, I see. And do you remember his reaction when he did see the sets?
As David conveyed to me, I think we were very literal in our translation of the Nostromo blueprints into the ship that we built, and we actually unearthed in the Fox library production and prep images that he hadn't seen since 1979. So I think, unlike all the other Alien movies, this really was a nostalgic experience for him.
I think he was awed by having that archive literally come to life again.
And children's in adults' bodies seems like such a horrifying concept. Was it important to you to retain the body horror element of the original Alien?
Yeah, definitely. It's, so much of that original film is about that feeling of that you don't have control over your body. This idea of how our children grow up, so much of it is a biological process, and it takes a certain amount of time to suddenly be thrust into an adult body and have to figure out what the adult world is. It's a very strange world with a lot of very difficult things to adjust to when you drive around with your your kids and they see people sleeping on the street and they say, why is that a reality? And you say, well, it's complicated. You just have to get used to it, right? That's horrifying. So the horror of the adult world, plays out as a sort of heightened element here.